The chronometer on my workbench ticked with a maddening regularity, a ceaseless counterpoint to the anxieties gnawing at my insides. I rubbed my tired eyes, peering at the swirling patterns on the plasma screen. It shouldn't be doing this. The temporal field readings should be clean, predictable, not a chaotic tapestry of dissonant echoes. Dr. Vance? Mark Chen's voice was edged with concern. He was good, my young assistant, but still a little too enthusiastic, a little too quick to see the wonder in every anomaly, every ripple in time. Chen, I sighed, pointing at the screen. Another one. Look at the drift. It's mimicking the sequence from... I choked on the words, the memory of it all too fresh. The central temporal catastrophe, the event that had branded me a pariah in the scientific community, shattered public trust in our work. He leaned closer, his brow furrowed in concentration. Could be a simple calibration error, Doc. Maybe one of the temporal feedback loops is misaligned. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. Calibration errors. They'd said the same thing about the disaster. It's not just an error, Chen. We're seeing temporal echoes, images from the incident but distorted, fragmented. Counselor Volkov's stern gaze seemed to pierce through the sterile confines of my lab. Dr. Vance, we need concrete answers, not hypothetical scenarios. Her voice was clipped, pragmatic. Anomalies in the temporal field, I stated, my voice betraying none of the fear gnawing at me. Repeating patterns, temporal dislocations, they strongly suggest a fundamental flaw in our understanding of the temporal field. Volkov scoffed. The Temporal Research Council has invested heavily in these advancements, Dr. Vance. Public trust is paramount. We cannot afford knee-jerk reactions. We need a solution, not a breakdown. She was right, of course. I had sacrificed my reputation, my standing after the previous disaster. I knew the implications of raising the alarm. We both worked feverishly, Chen and I, isolated in our makeshift laboratory, temporal buffers glowing ominously around us as we pushed the boundaries of our tech, desperately trying to isolate the echo. It grew stronger, pulsed with an increasing dread. The echoes weren't just random fragments, they were evolving, becoming more coherent. Then it hit me, a sickening realization. This wasn't just a malfunction, a simple flaw. It was a reflection. The echo wasn't just an artifact, it was a consequence. Chen, I said, my voice barely a whisper, it's not just repeating the past, it's amplifying it. It's feeding on the temporal strain of the city itself. We've created a temporal vortex. Chen stared at me, his face pallid. But what can we do? I knew the answer even as it twisted my gut. We shut it down. It was a monstrous decision. A shutdown could mean social economic chaos. My mind screamed, my conscience shuddered, but it was the only choice. The metallic hum of the temporal shutdown resonated through the lab, a guttural groan as the city's temporal flow faltered. Outside, the once familiar pulse of temporal acceleration dwindled, replaced by an unsettling stillness. I closed my eyes, the echo of the disaster, the echoes of the past, fading into the silence. The future was uncertain, but for now, the city was safe. I had bought us time, hope that we would learn from our mistakes. But the silence was heavy, laden with the weight of our technological hubris. I opened my eyes and looked at the silent city, draped in an unsettling quiet. I had shut down the city's heart, a cage of time closed just before the storm, and though we were safe, I knew the journey was far from over.